Hello and welcome to this training session on the newest member to the QuickBooks family, QuickBooks Online Advanced. My name is Chun Hao and I'm your host for today's session. It's great to have you join us. In today's training, we are going to take you through all the great features included in QuickBooks Online Advanced. First, a little about me. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Chun Hao and I am the Managing Director of High Pines Training and Consultancy. I was voted one of Asia's top 100 accounting and finance leaders by Accounting and Finance Show Asia, and I am a cloud accountant and trainer of accounting, GST, and cloud systems. My experience includes working at KPMG and Hewlett Packard, and I was also the head of finance and operation for one of the largest financial planning firm in Malaysia. Now, let's jump into QuickBooks Online Advanced. Let me introduce you to the business we'll be exploring today. Synergy Advanced Consulting Private Limited. Now, Synergy Advanced Consulting Private Limited, their business has been growing consistently, and now they need more complex and advanced feature from QuickBooks Online in order to help to scale up their business. Next, what they did is they engaged an accountant who are well versed with QuickBooks Online and asked for advice. Hence, after reviewing the requirements whereby they have increased their staff size, their workforce size, as well as the volume of transactions, and they require more features in order to manage their control and access, as well as more customized version of their invoice printout, as well as some of the accounting requirements changes, and they need to recognize some of their revenue and expenses correctly. So what happens is Synergy Advanced Consulting currently has a employee called Maria. Maria has been entering the data for expense only in the company, and Synergy Advanced Consulting doesn't want Maria to have access to the invoice or quotation, only the expense function. On the other hand, they have Daryl. Daryl only involves in issuing estimates or quotations and invoices to their customer. Now, Daryl has no access to the expenses. Hence, this is where Synergy Advanced Consulting seeks the advice from the accountant who are well versed with QBO in order to advise them how to move to QuickBooks Advanced in order to maintain all these controls and access. Now let's take a look at the QuickBooks Advanced feature. First, this is the main dashboard of the QuickBooks Advanced, whereby if you look at it, there is a task management function on the navigation pane. There is also workflow as well. And then if you move on to the settings, you have the manage workflow under the tools. You have the backup as well, backup company. And the custom fields are here, as well as reclassify transactions is now available under tools. Now, the import data and export data function is also available inside the system. Let's take a look at import data. These are some of the data which you can import from Excel or CSV file. You can use the bank data, which is the CSV file usually from the bank. Then customers data, suppliers, chart of accounts, product and services, invoices, and bills. As for exporting data, you can also export them into Excel. So these are some of the functions or reports which you can export. General ledger, profit and loss, balance sheet, trial balance, and journal. Under the list is customer, employees, and suppliers. Once you selected enable or disable, then you can click on export to Excel. Next, let's start with the access function. Go to the settings and click on manage users. In the manage users, these are some of the users that I have created. And what you can see now is if you click on add user, and if you click on the select a role, there are additional roles available, such as the expense manager, sales manager, payroll manager, and inventory manager, which previously in QuickBooks Online Plus Essential and Start will not have all this access, right? So if let's say I were to click on the sales manager, what are the functions available? Let's take a look at the samples whereby if I were to create a new one, then I can always choose the access. Now, if you see here, full access for sales, full access for list, and there's no access for or partial access in other areas or functions, such as expense, there is no access at all. If you look at the inventory, bookkeeping, accounting, reports, and time tracking, this person will have no access at all, right? Let's take a look at sales. Under the sales, you still have access to the invoices, estimates, sales receipt, and so on. Now, this is also editable, whereby you can always click whether you want to give access of estimates and invoices to this person or just the estimates or invoices. Now it is editable. All right. I have created some access such as Maria and Daryl, whereby Maria has access to the expense manager only, and Daryl will have access to the sales manager roles only, right? So now all of these are on role base. Next, let's take a look at the access I have given to Maria. Click on edit, and then if you scroll down over here and look at the expense, you can see again there are additional functions which you can choose, whether it's checks or bills that you can put. And over here, you can always click on whether this is an approval or not, right? There you go. Next, let's take a look at the task function. In the task function, this works like a reminder whereby you can remind yourself or remind the person that you want to give the task to. So I can always choose the task. And for example, let's say review accrual account and select the task given to, let's say, Maria. And on due date will be, let's say, on 17th of April. And is it a recurring task? Yes, I can make it a recurring task on a monthly basis. And when does it occur? Usually it's at the end of the month or the beginning of the following month once you have completed the accounts. So you may choose on the 5th of the month, and you can put in the information here. Please review the accrual account. And you can upload any document or select a document. Then click save once you're done. Now, as you can see, I have created a task. Let's look for it under the upcoming tab. There you go. There is this review accrual account which I have just created. If I click on it, then I'll be able to edit the task again, which I have assigned to Maria. Now, all these tasks you can filter in terms of due today, overdue, or upcoming tasks, which I've just shown, and the completed tasks. Next, after tasks, we are going to move to workflow. So let's take a look at the workflow. Now, inside the workflow, you can have all kinds of processes that you want. For example, is it a reminder, right? Or you can get notification, payment reminder, or approval workflow as well if you want to. Now, let's take a look at some of the example in terms of invoice. Type in invoice and then click on filter. There you go. We can always click on this invoice and filter them and then choose some of these notification or reminder that we want to. And we can filter in terms of get paid or pay only, other, business review, or action. From this, let's say I want to notify about invoice update. then I can always click on notify about invoice update template and go on to create this invoice update. We can choose from selecting on all these type of invoice update and send a notification after invoice is updated. Send an email to the company email in terms of invoice number and updated on last update date, and then perform the message as below. This is a great reminder to inform the person that this has happened, the invoice update has happened. Right? Click save when you're done. Let's take a look at some of the workflow that I've created. Right? For example, I've created this reminder estimate whereby I've created lots of estimate, right, for our consultancy work. So what we can do now is you can have the reminder. If after certain time there's no response to it, I want the system to remind me about it. So I can set a reminder 2 days before the estimate expires. And what should it do? When the estimate status is within the day, then we should pending, and the status is pending or accepted, right? Hence, we can uh, create a reminder and then to send a reminder to ourselves. Now, let's take a look at the approval function. We can always search for it. And there is a bill multi-condition approval, invoice approval, and PO approval. Let's take a look at the invoice approval. Over here, we can create this and then name it as another condition that we want to. Let's say invoice approval. And we can always choose and edit from here. So whenever invoice is created or edited, and if the invoice is between, for example, we don't want to approve anything below 100, then put in between 100 to 1000, or more than that, maybe put it at 10 and save it, or I can add in more condition. So what are the other condition? It could be the customer only, certain customer only, and within a range, or this person only, we can do that. So once we have created all these condition, we can put it, what's the condition? If it's true, if it's false, what should you do about it? And you can edit from here, right? You can edit from here. All right. Once you are done, click on save. All right, there it goes. This is the workflow approval as well as all the rest of the workflow that we can create. You can always search for the rest of the samples of workflow over here by scrolling down in the workflow templates. All right. Next, we shall move on to the custom fields. Under the settings, click on custom fields and you'll be able to see how to create a new custom fields. And I have created a sample here for the PO number to be included in the customer or invoice category. So let's click edit and let me show you. So over here, I've created this PO number custom field and it's applicable for sales receipt, invoice estimate, credit note, refund receipt. All right. There are additional field, let's say, for example, which I can create. Let's say the salesperson, and data type, this is a name. And therefore, I should choose text and number applicable to transactions of invoice and estimate, for example, sales receipt as well. And do I want to print it on form or just for me to view? Up to me to choose. It could be I would like to print the salesperson name in order to show to the customer. Click on save when done. Right? Let's create another one. Let's say cost lead, and I want it applicable to invoice estimate sales receipt, and I do not want it to be printed. It's only for my usage. I can always choose this as a drop down if I want to. Let's say I create a drop down list. For example, Facebook, customer referral. Let's just choose 2 for now. Click on save. Now let's try on creating a new transactions. For example, I click on new invoice. Right? As a PO number, I can key in the PO number. Salesperson, I can type the name, or I can choose a drop down if I have, let's say, Daryl. And the source lead, I can choose the drop down. Is it Facebook or customer referral, for example? Right? And later on, I can always choose to run a report based on all this information. I have the location and class turned on as well, which you can make use of it. All right, the next thing I would like to show to you is this part here. Under the products or services, assuming I want to choose a 24 months coaching payable in advance, right? And the amount is 6,000. What I want to do is I want to invoice this. It is payable in full, but later I want to recognize the revenue on a monthly basis. Let's choose the service date. For example, is on, let's say, 1st of March, and save this. All right, let's take a look at the transaction journal. Now, it has been shown that it is debit receivable 6,000 ringgit, 6,000 ringgit, and credit deferred revenue, which I have set up previously when I set up these items, right? Is credit with deferred revenue for 6,000 ringgit. Now, the system will perform the revenue recognition by itself. So all I have to do is go to this function of reports and then go to revenue recognition report. This is where I can see all the revenue recognition. As you can see over here, there is a recognized amount of the partially of the invoice amount. The one that I just created is invoice number 10002, whereby 250 has been recognized in the first month, which is March, and later on in April, it will continue to be recognized. As you can see, the status here is recognized in March, deferred on April, May onwards, and the entire schedule of revenue recognition is inside here. So let me show you how to create that product and services in order to have revenue recognitions. Under the sales, go to products and services, and you want to create a new product. Click on new and choose one. Let's say I want to create a service. Give it a name. Let's say 36 months of service maintenance package, right? And over at the bottom, you want to put in the description. Under the revenue recognition, click on I recognize revenue for this product on a monthly basis. And should you choose on the liability account, deferred revenue, service duration, is it on month or year? You can choose month and year. So over here, let's say I want to choose 36 months and key in 36, save and close. This is how you create a new item with revenue recognition function. Right? As you can see, 36 months with revenue recognition function has been created. The minute you create this product, it will be recognized on a 36-month basis. All right, let's move on to look at the reports. I've shown you the revenue recognition reports, whereby you can see the items which are being recognized on a monthly basis. Now, how about approval status? We have invoice approval status that we want to see. Let's click on it. There you go. This is the approval status that I created, whereby the first invoice be created and it has yet to be approved. So these are the lists whereby you can look at it and then review in order for approval. All right, next I want to look at the sales by custom field. So let's look at sales by customer detail. All right, this is sales by customer detail, whereby I have grouped it by source lead, which I created the custom field just now. And now this is the grouping. There is a customer referral. Of course, the rest I did not choose the source lead, then it won't be grouped together under the grouping name. So therefore, the custom field is a must to choose in order to perform the reports filter by the or sort out by the custom field. All right, there you go. All right, so this custom field is highly suitable, especially for those countries which have implementing or e-invoice, such as Malaysia. There are lots of custom fields required in order to meet the compliance requirements. Hence, you can make use of all these custom fields. All right. Now, let's say we want to schedule a report of this report that I've just created to send to a particular person on a monthly basis. How do we do that? First, we go back to the main report page under the custom reports, sales by source lead, which I have created. And the email is unscheduled at the moment. The status is unscheduled. So what we do is we click on the edit function over here. And then from here, what we can do is under the set email schedule, click on turn it on. Once you turn it on, you need to put in how frequent do you want to send this. Let's say on a monthly basis, on the first day of each month, I would like to send to this particular email with this information. And once I've done, I can always attach this email with the report in terms of PDF, HTML, or attach the report as an Excel file. If I want it in Excel file, just need to tick on this and then click on Save and Close. Now, it has been changed on the status for the email part, whereby it says every month it will schedule this report to be sent to the particular email that I have just created. Right. Now, I want to show you the last function, which is backup and restore. If you go to click on the gear settings and go to backup company under tools, click on that. And over here, you will need to click on sign in with Intuit account, and then you will fall into the dashboard of online backup and restore dashboard. Over here, you can go to the learn how functions or the read through all the documents in order to perform the step by step. You can backup it and then restore and then copy the accounting data from one QBO company to another, which is very, very useful, right? This function has been requested for many years now, and now it is available in QuickBooks Advanced feature. So you can enjoy as much as you want on this function. So that's QBO Advanced. Thanks for joining me to learn more about QuickBooks Online Advanced. I hope you found the session informative and now have a better feel for the new functionality in Advanced. Should you have any queries, please contact the fabulous QuickBooks Customer Success Team. Thanks again for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. I am Chun Hao from High Pines Training and Consultancy. Thank you.